Hi, we're going to do a little follow-up to lesson 20, and that would be with investigation 2. We're going to be talking about graphing a relationship. Like no, not that kind of relationship. Like relationship between numbers, or the term that I used in the last episode was a function. Special word for a math machine. And we were using the math machine that I have up here, that whatever number you put in, the input, you're going to multiply by 3, subtract 4 from that, and out comes a number. You remember watching Willy Wonka, and they're putting in like a boot to give it some kick, and all these gears and wheels turned around, and then out came a never-ending gobstopper? That's what we're talking about. Oh, yeah. So this is a normal thing in life. I already mentioned toasters and dishwashers. Soda machines, you put in money and you get out soda. You know how this works. So we just do it with numbers, and depending on what number you plug in, you get a different number that comes out. And you get to pick what number goes in, but you don't get to pick what number comes out. That has to follow the rules of math. And the example we were doing already, you plugged in 8, 4, and 0, and out came 20, 8, and negative 4. Now what we did with those is we said basically we're generating, when we do that, ordered pairs. So this turns into the address 8, 20. This one is the address 4, 8. And this is the address 0, negative 4. Because the x is the input and the y is the output. The x is your dependent, or is your independent variable, and your y is your dependent variable. At that point, you can just start plotting them on a coordinate plane. You can start plotting them on the grid. And I only had room for 4, 8, and 0, negative 4, but we can try a couple others. We go all the way up here to about 8 on that side, and 4 over here. We can put that one for positive 8. And there's our other one, 0, negative 4. Now let's run 2 and 1 through our machine. If 2 is multiplied by 3, you get 6. You subtract 4 from that, you get 2. So point 2, 2 will come out of that. 2, 2, and that would be going 1, 2 in the x direction and 1, 2 in the y direction. There, that one is at 2 and 2. And then the last one, if you plug in a 1, 1 times 3 is 3. 3 minus 4 will give us negative 1, which generates the ordered pair 1, negative 1. We go out to 1 and we go down 1. And there we go to put a dot. The interesting thing about this particular machine is that if I did an okay job with this, they are all drawn a line. Because you know what? It's a line. It's a special kind of math machine that produces, if we plug in any number and we plug in all the numbers, those answers, the pairs of ordered pairs, you'll get a set of ordered pairs, a whole bunch of ordered pairs that all lie on a line in that plane. That's pretty special. So that means if I decided I would try 3, well, 3 has to be, I just follow 3 up until it hits this line, and I've got what it would be for my answer for y, what should be the output. I can do some predicting. Cool thing, if you bought that really expensive calculator, that would be if you go to the y equals thing. This is where we get to put in a function. And I put this function in as if I've got to plug in some mystery number x, and then multiply by 3, and then subtract 4, that'll equal y. Now, one cool thing you can do to see what this looks like is to use your little blue second button and the graph button. Now, right above graph in blue, it says table. So if you go second, graph, it should bring up something like this, where it starts plugging in the values 0 and then goes by 1s all the way up to 10, And you can scroll up and down to see any other whole number that you want to. And then it also displays the value that comes out of that particular math machine. So you can see 0, -4 on there, and 1, -1, and 2, 2. See all those on there. And if you want to see what that looked like graphically, sorry, forehead's not in there, you can hit the graph button and it'll make a picture for you. And again, that looks a whole lot like the one up there on the board. So that second graph thing, the table, is really handy for generating a whole bunch of ordered pairs that help describe that rule or that relationship between x values and y values here. All those x values have something done to them, and then they produce that y value. Now, lines are not the only thing that can happen here. Lines are not the only type of relationship or function. Some relationships aren't even a function. We could do something as ridiculous as have time on this axis, and then the size of a zit, or the diameter of a zit, on this side. And maybe your graph would look something like that. That is a relationship between two things, is it not? As time goes by, your zit gets bigger, it reaches a peak, and then it gets smaller. Could be. In the book, they have something like this. They have time and some person's distance from home, and they're describing their trip to the beach. So time is going by. And so what is the person doing? Well, they get further away from home. They probably get to the ocean. They stay there in the ocean, and then they come back. But their coming back is a little bit slower than they're going there. It's always hard to leave. You're always in a rush to get there. You know, that's describing a relationship between two things. What if this is what happened? Get there, and then we're like, uh-oh. I mean, make a story out of that. What? Did they get, like, washed out to sea, and then somebody came and brought them back on a jet ski, but took them up to the lifeguard place and gave them a sandwich, and then they went back to their car, and then they sat there taking some deep breaths before they drove slowly home. You know, whatever. It's a relationship between these two different variables. In this case, passage of time and the distance from home. They give some other examples in the text of it. They got a time and speed of a horse's practice run. You've got things to analyze there where you're looking at where you got to say, is there anything changing or not in one variable compared to the other? You're going to see a lot of different pairs of relationships, but one thing you can do, you just draw a picture and then try to tell a story that describes how one thing's related to another. You know, they say that shoe size and reading ability are related. Do you know that? There's a correlation between your shoe size and your reading ability over time because, well, kindergartners have really small feet. I'll leave you with that. Have some good luck. Good luck. Have a great time. Whatever. Investigate. Investigate.